Hey, what's up guys, it's Roy. I thought I'd create a new video, show you guys what I've been up to, um, and you can see what I've been doing lately. To start off, you see it doesn't really look any different than what it would normally look like, but I've actually worked on a day-night cycle. If you look at that number, it's the last number in the list of text there, which I really need to cut down because that's way too much text. But anyway, it reads 499. What that actually is the time of day. The game will go from 0, which is absolute nighttime, up to 500, which is absolute daytime, and then back down to 0 and back up to 500, and it'll just ping pong like this back and forth. Pretty much the entire game. And I think it's 100 or 150 is nighttime, but as it gets darker, as it becomes daytime or nighttime, the sky's gonna get a little bit darker, to the point where it's what .NET would call midnight blue. And absolute daytime, like we're in right now, we are in what .NET would call, I'm assuming, cornflower blue. I don't even know what a cornflower is. I don't even know if it's a real thing. Who knows? But yeah, right now it's counting down, so we're gonna get to see a little bit of a sunset here. Another thing you'll notice is my crosshair that used to be in the middle is now actually a tiny little circle. I thought it looked neater, and so I changed it. What else did I do? You'll see clouds in the game slowly moving across the sky. If they get to the edge, they'll fade out, and they'll fade back in on the other side. And same if I were to leave the world, or leave this set of chunks, they'll fade out. Let me see if I can get to the point where the clouds are at my level. Another thing I worked on is a lot of memory optimizations. The game runs a lot quicker now. I had a dictionary that stored all the cubes that are visible, not necessarily the ones that had visible faces, just the ones that the game said, yeah, there should be a cube here. So everything inside of this mountain is stored somewhere. And that was so I didn't have to run the algorithm, the Perlin noise algorithm, every single time I wanted to check if a cube is visible. It's a really expensive algorithm. But I had that inside of a dictionary with the bool value set to true. That is a waste of memory. I don't know why I decided to do it that way, but regardless, I changed that out to a hash set, which seems to be almost as fast, but it uses a lot less RAM, so it's worth it in the end. God, I don't even know if I can get up on this thing. I don't even know where I am. I'm just gonna fly, maybe. I like seeing if I can climb up things before I just resort to flying. I feel like I'm cheating when I'm flying. And jump! Alright, I'm done. I'm flying. I'm up here. There's some clouds up there. It's cool looking. But I'm still not at cloud level entirely. You see that number's getting down to 370. We're slowly getting down to the nighttime. I'm just going to fly up to the clouds. Let's just fly up. So there's a really light cloud here. Looks kind of cool. There's a little bit of a darker cloud. And yeah, that's it for the clouds. Really, nothing too fancy. I'm actually using I made a bunch of Blender models, and I'm importing them in. The reasoning for that was I didn't think it was worth it to generate these random clouds, and I need to build some way to import models anyway, because when I add creatures to the game, obviously there's going to be models. And so I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone and just make the clouds imported. So I'm gonna fly back out to my little mountain abode here. You can see the sky is starting to get a little bit darker. Just barely. I don't know how well the compression for this video is, but it's enough. Let's fly out here. It's my little tower. Drop on top of that. And that's it really. A couple things I did. I worked on the changes manager. If you remember before, I had issues where if you deleted a block on an edge of a chunk, it deleted and it looked fine. But when you reloaded the game, that block would have a missing face. And the reason was that the chunks aren't all loaded at the exact same time. You know, I load them in order, and you can see that as I move around. And so if I loaded a chunk at X position 1 and the chunk at X2 wasn't loaded yet, the game didn't know that there was a change there. And so now I have this big changes manager that loads all the changes first and then builds the game. It runs surprisingly faster than before. It doesn't even take up that much more memory. and so that's worked out really well. The downside was that when I first built it, there was a bug in there that corrupted almost all of my change files, and so I had a backup, but I did lose a lot. Like, if you remember, I have a tunnel all the way out there that has a room in it. I lost all that. I had to rebuild that, but luckily I had this little mountain area here still backed up somewhere. You see the sky's starting to get a little bit darker. We're at 2:30, and we're just counting down away and try and keep this thing going until we get to 100, which is nighttime, so you guys can see the full cycle. So I worked on a lot of optimization stuff. I started to work on a website a little bit. I actually moved it to a new server, so I got to figure out what I want to add to it. And I had some people signed up on the forums. I'm sorry, but I have to delete the old forums, so go re-sign up once I get done here. So the sky's starting to get darker and darker. Eventually there's going to be more. The lighting's going to change. Really, I need to learn HLSL, which is a shader language that XNA uses. It's part laziness, no, it's pretty much all laziness. I just don't feel like working on HLSL. It just doesn't seem fun. But until then, I'm not going to have any good looking real sky transitions or lighting or anything like that. Like, obviously eventually I want to add torches. Can't do that with the basic effect thing. I'm just killing some time here until it's that little block there. Until the sky gets darker. Oh, there it is. Now it's even darker. I guess I should be looking at the sky, huh? Let's go back out here. So you can see the sky just getting darker and darker as that number is getting lower and lower. Eventually it's going to get to a midnight blue kind of color. And eventually I want to have it so, like I said, the light goes from one end to the other and the world actually becomes darker. But we'll see what happens. So I guess that's really it. Yeah, it's getting pretty dark. Next thing I'm working on is adding creatures to the game. Plants, animals, that kind of stuff. I've been putting in little hooks so eventually I can add multiplayer support to the game. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, that's it. It's about nighttime. It's not going to get too much darker than this. So, alright. Well, thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.